in the previous video, we have discussed that what was the condition of India under the colonial rule by the Britishers. In the previous video, we have discussed about the foreign trade and the demographic conditions of India. In today's video, the first topic that we are going to discuss is about the occupational structure. That means how the people were distributed among the different sectors in India, or what was the main sector which was given the priority by most of the population in India. See, now first we are going to see that what actually the meaning of the word occupational sector. It refers to distribution of working persons. See, what kind of person? Obviously about the working person we are talking. That it refers to distribution of working person across different sectors. How many sectors we have studied? In 10th economics, we are aware that there are basically 3 different sectors of economy in India. The first one is the primary, right? The second one the secondary sector, and the third one is the tertiary sector. In primary sector, we are mostly talking about the agriculture activities. In secondary sector, we are talking about manufacturing or industrial sector. And the tertiary sector is related to the service sector. As we know that already there are 3 sectors that were there and that are there in India. Now we are going to see that how much population was engaged in which kind of activity and what were the different things that were there. See, the state of occupational structure at colonial period. The first point is predominance of primary sector. What is predominance of primary sector, beta? That means basically, see, when we have started the chapter, I told you that before Britishers, the India was a agrarian economy, or India was having agrarian economy. That means our main occupation was the agriculture. So even we are predominating, यानी कि हम अगर कहीं आगे थे तो वो कौन सा सेक्टर था? एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर. So around 75% of the population, that means among the full population, 75% working population was under the agriculture sector. And the remaining 25 working population was under the secondary and tertiary sector. That means what you are going to write down in predominance of primary sector, you will write down that around 75% population of India was engaged in primary or the agriculture sector, and around 25% of the population was there in the secondary and tertiary sector. The next point, that is regional variation. Now, what is the meaning of the word regional variation? See, beta, there are so many states in India, and there were so many states. So, some of the states were having the fertile land. So, the ones which were having the fertile land, it was very easy or comfortable for them to do the agriculture activity. Now think about those states which were not having the same condition of the agriculture lands. तो क्या होता, वो चुपचाप से बैठे रहते या कुछ भी काम नहीं करते? नहीं, काम तो कुछ ना कुछ करना था. Yes. So we are going to write down that कि there were some disparities or there were some difference between the working of the states at that time in India. What we are going to mention after that? That states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, they were mainly focusing on secondary and tertiary sector. That means because the conditions of the state were not having a very good comfortable or very fertile lands were not available for the agriculture. So in spite of sitting idle, they have thought to change their occupation from agriculture to secondary and tertiary sector. That means basically they were working for manufacturing sectors and the service sector. Clear? But some states like Punjab and Rajasthan, Odisha, all these states were mainly focusing on agriculture activities. And again, what you would write down, that they were able to focus on agriculture activities because of the fertile and the comfortable land for agriculture. So this is all about that how was the condition of occupational structure at the time of Britishers or under the colonial period. Now, we are going to see that what was the condition of infrastructure at the time of Britishers. Yes, there were some of the developments of infrastructure which were done by the Britishers. Yes, you are listening it correct. There were some developments. But what was the main purpose? Their main purpose was just to serve their colonial interest. यानी कि उन्होंने डेवलपमेंट तो किया, उन्होंने रोड्स क्रिएट किए, रेलवेज, टेलीग्राम पोस्ट, ways, different ways of communication or different ways of moving from one place to another. लेकिन वो इंडियंस के लिए बेनिफिशियल होने से बहुत ज्यादा हद तक केवल ब्रिटिशर्स के लिए ही बेनिफिशियल हुआ करता था. Now we are going to see that how was that. Okay, so if I talk about the first infrastructure, that is roads, right? They have created road beta, but you have to remember one thing, that was not a very successful project because they were not having that enough funds कि they can create a very good roads. But even though they have created that, so what was the main purpose? It primarily served the interest to mobilize. What is the meaning of the word mobilize? That means just to transfer their army and shifting the raw materials. Again, you are seeing that both are the positive sides for the Britishers only. That means they were using the roads just so that they can transfer their army from two different places. That means from India to Britain or from Britain to India, and just to ship the raw materials from India to Britain. And what was the bad impact on Indians? Because the roads were not in a very good condition, they were not able to adopt the weather. So most of the time, the people, those who were living in the village areas, they were badly suffering due to floods and famines. यानी कि काफी बार वहाँ पर famines की और बाढ़ की दिक्कत हो जाया करती थी. Clear? The next thing and the very positive aspect that Britishers have left for us, that was the development of railways. In 1850, that was the year when Britishers have started a way of communication, that is railways. Now, see, yes, there was a positive side for Indians as well, but again you will see that it was much more advantage for Britishers rather than Indians. First, it enabled people to travel long distances. Yes, it was positive for Indians. That even Indians can move from one place to another, and even they can travel long distances with the help of railways. But what was the negative aspect there? It also enhanced commercialization of Indian agriculture. Commercialization means in spite of producing the food crops, the farmers were producing cash crops. Can you tell me one thing? If you are going to produce more and more of cash crops, will there be sufficiency of fruit in your India? No. So because of lots of commercialization, the food has become very short, or there was shortage of food in India. And lots of people were there in the conditions of famines, and because of that commercialization, India has suffered a huge economic loss. So again, who was having the merit out of railways? Again, it was Britishers. But the question can be both. In CBSE, they can ask you, okay, what is the positive side of railways to Indians? There you are going to write down that it enabled people to travel long distances. That was positive side for Indians. But even there can be the same question. that there was some negative impact as well. Then there you are going to write down that it enhanced commercialization of Indian agriculture and that has badly affected the economy of India and led to shortage of food. Roads and railways, the third point was about the communication. That means how the communication was possible or how the people were getting information about one another. So at that time, post and telegraphs were very famous for communication process. Now what extra or what development has been done by the Britishers there? The Britishers have introduced expensive telegraphs. They have introduced expensive telegrams so that they can maintain the law and order in India. And the Britishers were already knowing that because they are expensive, they are costly, so no Indian will be able to afford them. A very less proportion of Indians will be able to afford it. So you can imagine that what was the conditions of Britishers' mind sense, that how much panic situations they were creating for the Indians even in infrastructure. And the last is airways and waterways. See, airways and waterways they have created, but they have proved to be very uneconomical. That means there were so huge economical losses and they were not able to sustain in a manner according to the Britishers. So they were stopped very soon. Okay. So these were all the situations that were created by the Britishers under the infrastructure. You are seeing, see beta again, rails, railways, communication and airways and waterways. Each and every development of infrastructure just lead to mere and very big advantage to Britishers. They were having, if I say as a proportion, it was giving 95% of advantage to Britishers and a very little bit of 5% advantage to the Indians. But among all the infrastructure, the main advantage was of railways which was given to us, or we can say yes, that was a big positive aspect for us. And you have to remember that year 1850 because that can be asked in CBSE too.